Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and boy did I just find a blast from the past from Crucible of Games. So, I'm joined today by some Proserpine Guard that came from Crucible of Games, but that's not actually what today's video is about, but I thought they can keep us company. How many of you guys remember Sunsoft video games? Fester's Quest, Giant Frogs, Underground Caverns, top-down blast-em-ups. Maybe you might remember a game called Blaster Master. Well, turns out that Crucible of Games put out an Owl-class scout vehicle recently, which should look somewhat familiar. Now, as soon as I saw this sucker, I could hear the intro music starting to play, and I thought this was just such an awesome little concept. So you'll notice there's an empty spot right here. That's because that's where the turret's going to go, and you actually have two options for the turret spot. And you can see I've been playing around with various turrets in there, so you have either with or without missiles. Now I had to have the missiles because, you know, that was a big part of the game. So that sits right there. And then you have a choice of a regular barrel or the very phallic-looking flame barrel. Now, the chassis here is pretty much one piece. The only thing that didn't come on there are the wheels. It was all hollowed out. Fairly straightforward, fairly simple. Has that tail fin. But I was thinking, you know, I mean, this was a tank designed for a, you know, single person. But judging by the size of it, I'm thinking this is perfect for like the Ash Wastes. Not too big, not too small. And I'm not usually one that's really keen on vehicles in the first place. So I was like, oh, I have to print this. I have to print this. And I do have actually a couple of other Crucible of Game vehicles that, now that I've been putting this together, I'm like, maybe I need to go back and actually put some of the other ones together. So hopefully we'll see some videos on those in the near future as well. But I was particularly impressed. I can't speak today either. So the frame itself is a little basic, a little devoid of detail, but I think that's okay. I mean, obviously this is going to be a bit more of an anime-esque, streamlined look to it if you want to bling it out with, you know, skulls and Imperial Eagles everywhere, or decorate it with spikes and skulls. I mean, I think it would totally look fine. Sadly, there are no real ways to get those wheels to move. That was my one major criticism. A lot of the other Crucible of Games vehicles oftentimes have spots for magnets in both the wheels and in the axles so that you can have them actually being able to roll. Is that being super nitpicky? Yeah, but it would have been really cool to have it so it could actually roll around on the table. But again, that's just a very small nitpick, other than not having tons and tons of bling. But I mean, I think size-wise, I think it works really well. These guys are about standard Imperial Guard size if we grab an actual Marine. I mean, yeah, you could fit one in there, but for a personal vehicle in like the Ash Wastes or Necromunda, actually grabbing some Necromunda figures, I think that's going to work out really well. What you're going to use it as is anybody's guess, but, you know, if you're like me and always on the hunt for new interesting machines, vehicles, and things to goof around with and paint, well, I think this is a good choice. I will have a link down below if you want to take a look yourself. Crucible of Games are good people. They make a lot of interesting models that have their own very unique design. They give you a lot of bang for your buck. You got a lot of modular figures, and I gotta say, their figures are modeler type figures. Everything is an individual piece here. Individual arms, weapons, the torso and legs and heads are separate. Some of these guys, like, if I can get him in focus there, his chest plate is a separate piece. One that had a backpack. I mean, so there's a lot of options. Some of the kits are more labor intensive than others, but like I said, this one was really simple. I have some of their funky APC tank sets, and I mean, those things have like all sorts of different options for how they move, you know, how big you're gonna make it, all the weaponry, the latches, just tons and tons of option bits. So if it sounds like something that you might be interested in, by all means, do take a look. And if you're like me and have some serious nostalgia and you can hear that theme music as the main dude jumps in the Sophia the Third at the beginning of the game, well, I think you're going to be in for a nice little treat here. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.